Hello, good evening. It's another beautiful Sunday, day number 10 in the month of March, the year 2024. You're welcome to Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, Goel PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, MPS, and Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA. Now, our media partner on this journey of a lifetime is the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT. If you want to have a grasp of all the transpired on the show tonight, make a date and grab the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to see all that happened here on the show. Tonight, we are streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook, we are streaming live at Port of Tema. And on YouTube, we are live at Iron Port. Indeed, we shall be getting interactive with you as usual, and so all you have to do is sit back, relax, and grab your phones and send us your messages and comments via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is 0559-019-177. 0559-019-177. Now, when the time is ripe and the production team gives me the green light, we shall be activating the phone line for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we'll return, we'll continue the show. Please stay with us.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I come.
Shut up!
Mame, Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Ron 95.
Fill up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goel.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mommy.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goel Super XP Ron 95. Goel, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse. And my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance.
Oh, Ajima.
Tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life
can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, welcome back. We are now going to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. And indeed, in the course of the week, the Regional Maritime University held a matriculation ceremony for the 2023-2024 academic year for students that have been admitted into the institution. And during the program, it emerged that some 37 female students have been admitted into Seagoing programs. We have details of that particular story coming up shortly. Plus the fact that the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority continues to beef up its security personnel at the port. And this time around, they've trained some 124 who graduated recently and have passed out indeed and would be beginning work pretty shortly. And we have that particular story for you as well. Plus the fact that the General Manager in charge of Marketing and Corporate Affairs at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Mrs. Esther Gyebi-Donkor, during International Women's Day celebration, took time off her busy schedule to visit the port of Takoradi, where she mentored some female professionals in the maritime industry. We have these stories and more for you. Please enjoy.
A total of 554 students have been admitted into undergraduate and postgraduate programs at the Regional Maritime University at the 2023-2024 academic year. In a matriculation ceremony that coincided with the celebration of the International Women's Day, it was announced that admission of females in the seagoing programs of nautical science and marine engineering has increased significantly. Addressing his audience, the acting vice-chancellor of the university, Dr. Jethro Brooks Jr., revealed ongoing initiatives by RMU and its stakeholders to improve the academic experience for students.
The university collaborated with a number of educational institutions and industries aimed at enhancing teaching, learning, and research. The university is in collaboration with BSM, Benesuto Group of Companies, which continue to yield results. Under this collaboration, a good number of our graduates have had the opportunity to undertake the academic training on board the BS vessels, which have enabled them to accumulate the needed sea time to pursue the certificate of competence programs. Currently, over 900 of our graduates, ranging from ratings to officers, are in the employ of the BS group.
He praised the Ghana Space Authority for the focal support given to female marine engineering students, encouraging other companies to emulate such scholarship programs. Speaking on behalf of fellow freshmen, Deborah Arthur encouraged their colleagues to give up their best in this academic journey they have embarked on.
Dear matriculants, recognize the importance of this ceremony as the beginning of a new phase in our lives. Remember, education is not solely about acquiring facts and figures, but about cultivating a mindset of curiosity, critical thinking, and resilience. As we begin our academic journey, heed the Ecclesiastes wisdom that success isn't solely for the fastest or strongest.
In an era where security is gaining growing concern in the sub-region, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority continues to demonstrate that safeguarding and gatekeeping of the ports, which are key national assets, remain top on the organization's agenda. 124 more security personnel have been added to the existing numbers in Tema. Over the weekend, a colorful passing out parade was held at the 1st Infantry Battalion in Michel Camp to mark the successful training of these new recruits. They underwent 6 weeks of intense endurance and strength training, swimming, access control and searching, checkpoint duties, report writing, among others, to obtain the fundamental skills needed to discharge their duties effectively. General Manager in charge of administration at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Kwabna Edu Safo, cheered the trainees, especially the females, for being tirelessly dedicated throughout the training program. He urged them to espouse the virtues of dignity, honor, and integrity in their service to Ghana's ports.
After today's graduation ceremony, you will be assigned to serve the ports in different levels. You must serve with honor, with dignity, courage, and integrity, and show allegiance to what is right and conform to the authority's code of conduct. If you live by these commitments, you will certainly have a great future in GPHA.
Outstanding performers among the group were publicly honored with special awards.
GPHA course 1-24, which is the overall best award, is given to the trainee, adjudged all-round trainee, and it goes to our parade commander, trainee in Boke Elom Ama Precious.
As the world marked International Women's Day last Friday, female employees at the port of Takoradi underwent a mentorship session with seasoned maritime professional Esther Gyebi-Donkor, who is currently the general manager in charge of marketing and corporate affairs at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. The mentorship session was to give aspiring female professionals the opportunity to have a closer interaction with the accomplished woman whose expertise covers port operations and management, corporate affairs, marketing, and communications. The director of Port of Takoradi, Tema, who graced the occasion in his welcome remarks, urged the participants to transform their minds and believe in themselves to make a great impact in their field of work.
When you become a person of value, you recognize the purpose for which GPHA was created and the dynamics in which you have been brought in to fit and recognize your role. You will become a person of value to be recognized by the system and you will rise up. But when we accept mediocrity as the norm, it is about recognizing that we need to transform our minds.
The president of the Ghana chapter of the Network of Professional Women in Maritime and Port sectors of West and Central Africa, who doubles as the Marketing and Public Affairs Manager at the Port of Tema, Abna Sewa Opoku-Fosu, urged women to abreast themselves of the trends in the maritime industry.
Follow what is happening in the industry. Don't say because you are not in operations, you are not in marketing, but you need to know. You need to know what is happening in other ports. And then you also need to know how we are doing as a port, so that as an authority, so if somebody elsewhere is saying something contrary, you can debunk it.
Esther Gyebi-Donkor provided an insight into some of the choices that contributed to a 30-year successful career. She encouraged the female employees at the Port of Takoradi to embrace roles at the operational areas of the port to gain practical understanding of the industry they work in.
The best experience for me during GPHA is the time I went to operations, because you see, operations is our core business. And when all those people who are talking about, oh, Esther knows her staff and all of that, the fact that I have to be part of the vice president team to implement paperless and all of that came because I understood the operations.
The seasoned maritime professional also advised the mentees to inculcate the virtue of integrity and the habit of teamwork during the discharge of their duties at the country's premier port.
In working hard, you have to leverage on teamwork, and then you also have to delegate. Maybe I'm talking about delegation and you are sitting here saying, oh, but I'm just a junior staff, how do I delegate? You obviously have somebody that is junior to you. Even though you are a junior staff, you are an officer, you need not to be a manager before you have somebody working under you.
She admonished them to stay proactive and adapt to change in the industry, advising that they should enroll in port management courses.
The industry we are working in is very dynamic. It's changing, things are changing. So if you came in with a first degree, probably in economics, you cannot stay there forever. You need to do something about the industry. Is it port management? Is it safety? Is it security? Is it what? You need to better yourself as you move on.
The director of the Port of Takoradi, presented a plaque in honor of Madam Esther Gyebi-Donkor for her immense contribution to the maritime industry and dedication to the cause of GPHA for the past 30 years.
Meanwhile, the Maritime and Dock Workers Union of the Ghana Trades Union Congress, in collaboration with the Department of Gender and Western Region, joined the call for men and women in authority to inspire inclusion of more women in industry. In an event to mark International Women's Day in the port city of Takoradi, the speaker stressed the need to accelerate progress, promote the gender campaign, and lobby for gender inclusivity in the maritime industry.
We are calling on all women to invest in themselves and to also use opportunities that seeks to also invest in them so that we will be able to achieve the gender equality agenda we are looking at.
This day is celebrated to accelerate progress, to promote affirmative action, to promote the campaign of Convention 190, to also lobby for gender inclusive, and a lot, particularly in this year when we are looking at Inspire Inclusion. I want to challenge every single woman everywhere that this is our opportunity. The gender gap index is still big. We still have not been able to bridge the gap worldwide. But there is something that we can do as we intentionally decide to inspire others and inspire ourselves so that we will be included in everything that goes on. So far as our health is concerned, so far as our education is concerned, so far as our economical situation are concerned, and in political decision making.
All right, so welcome back. Those were some happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of last week. Indeed, we are now going to take a look at some international port and shipping stories.
A container ship owned by Switzerland-based Mediterranean Shipping Company, the world's biggest shipping company, was hit by a missile in the Red Sea on March 4, 2024. The United States Central Command informed that on Monday afternoon, Yemen's Houthi group fired 2 anti-ship ballistic missiles from Yemen into the Gulf of Aden at MV MSC Sky 2. The Liberia Flag 2169 TEU container ship was en route from Singapore to Djibouti. Data provided by Vessel's Value shows that the incident occurred some 91 nautical miles southeast of Aden. One of the missiles impacted a vessel, causing a fire and minor damage. Initial reports indicate there were no injuries and the ship continued on its way. Environmental Action Germany, a non-governmental environmental and consumer protection organization, has called for the adoption of a moratorium like the one placed in the US to stop what it deems to be unbridled LNG expansion in Germany. As the German Minister for Economic Affairs and Climate Action, Robert Habeck, prepared for a 2-day government consultation visit to Washington on March 6 to 7, 2024, to discuss, among other things, energy and climate policy, the German NGO used the opportunity to call for a limit to LNG imports by following the example set by the Biden administration in late January 2024. At the time, President Joe Biden announced an LNG permitting pause to get climate and environmental assessments out of the way, as the existing ones date back 5 years. This controversial decision caused an uproar among the oil and gas lobby, but was praised by environmental groups.
All right, so it's now time for us to take a look at the word or phrase of the day. And remember, the word or phrase of the day has been fashioned to bring you up to speed with the terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. Today's word is post-Panamax ships. Post-Panamax ships.
Post-Panamax ships are a class of vessels that exceed the maximum size parameters set by the Panama Canal's original locks, making them too large to transit through the canal. The term post-Panamax emerged following the expansion of the Panama Canal in 2016, with the creation of new locks to accommodate larger ships. They typically have a length of over 294.13 meters, a beam exceeding 32.31 meters, and a draft beyond 12.04 meters. These ships are designed to carry 5,000 to 14,000 20-foot equivalent units of cargo, making them ideal for high-volume long-haul routes.
Now we are zooming into our discussion proper, and we're taking a look at the opportunities and challenges, or challenges and opportunities in regional value chains, and we're taking a look at the role of the private sector and women-owned businesses. This topic comes on the back of the celebration of the International Women's Day, which was celebrated on the 8th of this month. And so it gives me pleasure to introduce to us in the studios Mr. Louis Yao-Afol, who is the Executive Director of the AFTA Policy Network. He's an AFTA expert. He's no stranger to our import. He's been here on several occasions. And we say welcome, sir, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Good evening to your viewers.
Awesome. All right, so also in the studios is Madam Joyce Konedu-Aidon, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Essential Cosmetics. We say welcome to Iron Port and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Many happy returns.
Awesome.
To you and our viewers.
Awesome, great. So let me begin with you, Mr. Yao-Afol, and find out from you what you tell us the role of the private sector and women-owned businesses is in developing regional value chains.
Well, thank you, and good evening to Madam Konedu. I think that is, and also happy International Women's Day celebration. That I think gradually, if you look at the role of the private sector in women-owned businesses, it's one that has so many chains and systems that cannot be exhausted. But let's start with this, that if you take about 70% of trade, which is in Africa mostly by women, and you also look at about 70% of the same trade is in the informal sector, then you also look at the fact that you have women, about 70%, who are also in the informal sector. And that alone should tell you that women are good managers of businesses. If that is the case, then I think it is important that since we live in a regional ecosystem, looking at the Continental Agreement with the introduction of the Protocol on Women and Youth in Trade. Why? Because so that women can really leverage on this protocol and build a very sustainable system. Formalize the informal sector. Build upon value chains. And if you look at various economies across Africa, majority are about agrarian, primary industries.
Right.
If that is the case, then women have the opportunity to build a lot of agro-based chains. And that is, to me, also a formidable one. Because if you say private sector, you are talking about businesses or a system that is not government-controlled. And that is why we are saying that 70% of this informal sector are owned by women. Therefore, if they are not government-controlled, it raises a very serious red flags. It raises a serious alarm of what we should expect and what women can do if really we are able to formalize all the various arrangements that makes doing business for them feasible and flexible and successful.
Right. Okay. So let me still stick with you briefly and find out from you in terms of harmonization and regulatory frameworks contributing to the success of regional value chains. The question is, what specific challenges might businesses face in navigating these challenges?
Well, I think that we can't rule out finance and trade finance. In fact, if you look at the data I've given you, the 70% of women in trade and foreign trade, the biggest challenge is trade finance. Not just trade finance, but you need to have legislations that give them access. Not just saying that let's support our women, let's support our women. If you go to the political parlance, let's make sure that women are inclusive in terms of political power. No, but you can't just say it as saying, you have to legislate it.
Right.
So for example, you need to have legislations that equip or empower financial institutions either owned by women directly, like the likes we should have the women banks, which has some years back we had women bank, situated in Tema, and everything focus was women.
Yeah.
So So if we're going to...
That's the Women's World Banking or something, I think I've seen
yes,
it
Women's
before,
World
sure.
Bank or something.
Yeah,
Yes.
Women's
And
World
we're doing
Bank,
from 2009, 2010. It was very active.
Right.
Those institutions should be revived and revamped.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the data on giving you 70% here, then it means that you can really mitigate that gap, number one. Number two, legislate the fact that institutions, financial institutions, will give more recognition to financing women-inclined entrepreneurship, businesses, and activities compared to the male-dominated world. And the third area you have to also look at in the regional value chain is that the regional financial institutions themselves should also be engaging in very serious grants.
Yeah.
It shouldn't always be left to the advanced countries, European Union, the US. We should enable ourselves in the area of grants, because then you are taking away the effect of interest rates and what have you. And then that could be a kind of a highway for these women in businesses to have a kind of briefing space. My initial comment.
Good. All right, thank you very much. Let me come to Joyce and find out from you. You are a CEO of a woman-owned, enterprise. I just want to find out from you in terms of challenges, how you've been able to navigate these challenges and, capitalize on the opportunities in terms of your quest to expand and then to also, as it were, navigate and make success of the business that you are doing, particularly within our sub-region in West Africa.
All right, thank you very much. As the CEO of a woman-owned business, I've been in the beauty industry for a while. I'm into production of natural personal care products, and I happen to find my products in a lot of African countries, but narrowing it down to the West African country.
Right.
Now, to be able to expand your business in other African countries or across Ghana, it's a good thing, but we cannot do away with the challenges or the bottlenecks. A lot goes into it, like having your market research done, which of course includes costs, doing your adaptability, trying your best to cater your products or services to the needs of the market.
Can you draw your mic a bit closer? Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Yeah, sure.
So adaptability, trying to cater your products to the needs of the market in question, your trying your best to know the regulations in the markets that you want to enter. And this, of course, in all these points that I've given, you cannot do away with the cost. Yeah. So the cost has been, the cost and time have been challenges I have faced in this. But the good news is that there are certain institutions that make this process easy for us. So I leverage on the benefits of these institutions, talk of GEPA, after APN, after Policy Network, with Ghana, some institutions that make this process easy. So they go through the pain to do the market research and all that, and then bring the export opportunities to us. But one other challenge is that when they bring the export opportunities, these institutions try as much as possible to cut down the cost. But at the end of the day, a lot of businesses down here also think about how to cater for the rest of the bill. So let's say there's an exhibition in Nigeria and GEPA has paid for the booth, or after has taken care of the booth, you need to take care of your flights, your accommodation and all that. So these are the challenges. But for me, I leverage on the benefits of these institutions, and we try our best. Yes.
Okay, you mentioned GEPA, you mentioned After Policy Network and all the other agencies that are trying to make business quite smooth for you. I just want to find out from you, last year we had an interview with Mr. Dajawa, who's head of projects at Ghana Exports Promotion Authority, who intimated to us about the Ghana Trade House in Kenya. Were you part of that delegation that went there, and do you have your goods there? So people can patronize you.
Okay, so I'm aware of the Ghana Trade House. So as I mentioned, sometimes it becomes a challenge. They take care of some part of the cost, and you're supposed to do the rest. And at times you have a lot of things on your hands, because as a business owner, you have a lot of things that you need to do. So I couldn't make it, but due to collaborations, and I had some of my products go on my behalf.
How would you say you fared since the inception of AFTA?
Come again?
How would you say you have fared since the inception of AFTA?
Oh, the exposure has been great. Yes, yeah.
Exposure.
Yes.
Do you make sales? That's what we want to know, whether you've actually made some liquid in terms of profits and all that since after started.
So if you would face reality, I want to be honest here. The products are out there, or our products have been out there since after came on board. But we are having one or two challenges when it comes to payments platforms, how to get the products to the receiver. So in Kenya like this, you have the Ghana Trade House, so the products are there. So with that side, there is lack. But at the other side, where the Ghana Trade House is not available, at the end of the day, people see your products and they need it. Or you go for an exhibition through after, and then you build customer relations with people. Then later, how to export the products or move the products from your end to the receiver's end becomes a problem.
All right. So Louis mentioned the fact that finance is one of the key obstacles in terms of facilitating trade and improving and enhancing trade. And he mentioned the Women's World Banking thing, asking that this should be revived, and revamped so that we can have the support for you people. Financial barriers. How would you tell us you've been able to, navigate in terms of the challenges that inhibits you to access finance or capital to up and increase and enhance your business?
For the financial barriers, anytime I think about it, I get emotional. So recently, I was having a debate with some friends of mine, and they were saying a lot of women own businesses as compared to men. But when women and men go and access loans, men get it. And we had a very tough debate about it, and it's very true. So the gender disparities too has been there. I don't know the kind of perception they have about women, but according to data too, when a man and woman access loan, a woman pays faster than a man. But we don't know why still that gender disparities have been there. And also, I'll talk from the beauty aspect. So I've tried a few financial institutions to see if I can access loans to scale my business, and I realized that the funds are there, but the kind of attention given to certain sectors like agriculture, the merchandise, the fintech and all that, we in the beauty industry do not get that kind of attention. And it looks like they see us, or they see the beauty industry as a risk-prone zone.
Right.
Yes. Sometimes the procedure begins, you need a guarantor, the collateral and all that, and someone cannot guarantee for you because the person is scared. The person doesn't know the outcome. It's like 50-50, win or lose. So with the interest, the guarantor, the collaterals and all that have been a major problem in us assessing loans. And as I mentioned, attention is being given to other bigger sectors than us, forgetting that we also give great value both locally and globally when it comes to the cosmetics side. So this has been the challenges I see from my end. Yes.
It is well. All right, so Louis, we cannot talk about value chains, robust value chains, without talking about infrastructure. Yes, if we can have effective, efficient, and robust value chains, they need to be infrastructure. In your perspective, how or what kind of investments should we be making in terms of ensuring that we have the requisite infrastructure to facilitate trade and to enhance connectivity, so we can have fluid flow of goods across borders?
That is a very remarkable question you've asked. The framers of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement felt that the need to have trade-related infrastructure as part of how it can boost trade.
Right.
Africa wants to have a continental agenda. So we have the PIDA. I think it's an agency, Pan-African Infrastructure Development Agency. So that agency, if you take your time and you check the infrastructure toll list that have been earmarked, when it comes to trade, I always suggest that countries should do joint venture, because some of the infrastructure is very capital intensive. And also, without these infrastructure, trade will be a barrier.
Absolutely.
And it's like, how can you produce the goods and how are you moving the goods? You've produced the goods, you don't have good roads. You've produced the goods, you don't have rail. You've produced the goods, there's no shipment. you've produced the goods, you don't have soft infrastructure as well, then what is it? It becomes a cost to yourself. So if you come to the PIDA, if you check the every year they list projects that the Abidjan Lagos corridor. It's almost about 11 to about $6 or $16 billion. That is not a small. Which company can embark on this? But if you do a forecast of what the returns will be for these corridors, these countries, it's unimaginable.
Right.
Now, if you take energy, there is no way you can engage in production without whatever kind of energy. Now that we are having so many renewable energies from our view.
Yeah.
Look at the dam that was completed in Ethiopia. They had assistance. Now, PIDA should lead the way because it is a Pan-African institution and an African Union. So the countries will say, look, they will set the agenda, the policy. Countries will unite. I wanted to list a lot, but there were lots of the infrastructure going on currently. There is some as low as the value of $2 million, $3 million, whatever, in the area of energy, in the area of road. Come back to West Africa. Even the African AFDB is also engaging other infrastructure.
African Development Bank, yeah.
There is a soft infrastructure that Equatorial Guinea is embarking to lay fiber under the sea.
Right.
Apart from that, they felt that, look, let us build gas terminals at the ports so that instead of countries going to import crude and all those things outside Africa, we could supply at a cheap. They almost, I think they were here in 2009 when the late President Tamils was around.
Right.
And if you interact with them, they would have given to us a very good discount, as at the time that we were not in commercial quantities. So infrastructure, when they came, they could not, because we didn't have the gas terminals.
Yeah.
We could not. Come to aviation. Come to ports. It's not just about ships coming. You are in the port. It's not about ships not coming. No. You need to have the infrastructure. Until we had Terminal 2 at the port, were we able to have the capacity? No.
No.
Even the regional maritime university should be expanded. It needs support. Because you need to train people as a prerequisite for the skills.
So you're talking about Terminal 3 at the port. That's the MPS terminal, yeah.
Yes.
MPS terminal.
Because as you are importing skills, it's cost.
Yeah.
If you train them within. So even the maritime university, it's like you take Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It's like the tech hub or tech lab for the US. And about 80% of the top inventors and innovators, most of them come from there.
Yeah.
So if you are looking at infrastructure, apart from being hard and soft, we should be meticulous, we should be intentional, we should have a serious budget to it. We should also have a maintenance legislation. Because you cannot have the infrastructure and you don't have legislative instrument to sustain the infrastructure. You go because you do infrastructure, you yourself 4 years, you go back to the same infrastructure, and maintenance is a problem. And you know, Mona, this maintenance issue is not about caring for it. There's a professional way of making focus and assessing that this infrastructure that I have set up in 2 years' time or in 3 years' time, this is what is good. The deficit is going to experience. These are the kind of cracks it's going to, so that it's not just about maintaining it, but knowing also that with these years to come, let's even take your normal vehicle. Do you know that your windscreen has, some of them has expiry date? The windscreens.
Yeah.
Some people might not know, so they'll keep on wiping the glass till their kingdom come.
Yeah.
But that windscreen can explode. So it's not just about maintenance, but also having the professional estimate costings to know that in 3 years' time, this infrastructure, this road that we have built, this rail we have built, it will be exposed to depreciation because of this, that, so how do we maintain it? Then you focus that in the next 6 years, it will be have to get one.
Yeah.
It is amazing that if you come to Ghana, I don't know about Ricos, but when you are going to do half road, we leave the bigger space, and then create a narrow way, then later on struggle to come and eject people, it becomes a cost. We need
compensate
to
people.
Compensate people. So infrastructure should be intentional, it should be professional, it should be technical, and it should be legislated. I want to end on that point by looking at aviation.
Right.
Look, yesterday, I don't know whether you were privy to, where a Delta airline was flying, I think, from one of the U.S. states, yesterday. And then the tire just dropped in mid-air and then smashed in a certain vehicle. Quickly, what happens?
Where did this take place?
When or where?
Where?
U.S.
Okay.
It was moving from one state, I think from Chicago or something,
to another state. Okay.
It just dropped. You see, infrastructure, especially now that we are having digital age, the soft infrastructure is as equally important as the, what do you call it, the physical.
Right.
If you take, today, I think there are more people users of internet in West Africa.
Right.
There are more users of mobile phones. There are more users of fiber optic.
Right.
So I know of, in terms of security infrastructure, I know of technology that are using infrared and drones to man borders. So that it's not all the time that you have to have a kind of physical presence of, we have to quickly do what? We have to invest in those kind of infrastructure. We are having this issue with climatic conditions because we don't have enough climatic satellites in orbit because it's expensive. But once you do, when you launch them into orbit, they give you forecast of climatic changes, of certain weather changes, so that it could make you make better plans.
Right.
You see, so the thing is, it's a chain. Once you ignore one, it leads you to one pit. So we need to estimate a year. How much will government estimate overall as a budget for infrastructure, whether soft or hard? So I think that is the area that I would like to come from, and it must be systematic.
Right. Okay. Let me come back to Joyce and talk about the issue of trading across the borders and how complex sometimes it can be, perhaps due to regulatory frameworks and all those things. And I just want to find out from you in terms of trading across the borders as women. What are some of the issues that you have identified that's quite detrimental to the growth of your businesses across the borders, particularly within our sub-region, West Africa? And do you have any recommendations as to how we can improve so that we can have fluid and free flow as far as your business is concerned?
Okay, thank you very much. So as women in business, I think our main challenge in the cross-border trading when it comes to the regulations has been limited access to information. You need to know the regulations of the country that you want to do your market in or export to. So what I'll recommend is that more information should be provided. And I think it's being done by the institutions I mentioned earlier. But they need to put in, I believe that there is always more room for improvement. And it can also be shared in such a way that women who are not educated, we have a larger number of women who are not so literate, but are in business. They are really doing well and they work across borders, but they don't have any idea. All they know is that they are exporting their products to this country or the other within West Africa. So the information should be shared in such a way that they can also benefit. And after having the information, sometimes the regulations confuse. So you realize that we have ECOWAS. West Africa, we believe we are one people. You can enter one African country to the other with your passport, your card, or your ID card, or whatever. But at the end of the day, they have different regulations. So let's say Nigeria regulations might be different from Togo regulations. And then when it happens that way, it gets confusing and it's also cost. And then sometimes these regulations are complex. like the documentation requirements and all that. And at the end of the day, it wastes your time and then it wastes your money. So imagine that you deal with perishable goods and your goods are at the border. Last year, November, I sent my products, African black soap and shea butter.
Right.
And then it got stuck at the Nigerian border, a whole lot of wahala. I also
Where were you taking
frustrated.
it? To Nigeria?
To Nigeria.
Okay.
I was so frustrated. At the end of the day, when it goes to the various shops, I was told that the shea butter had melted, the black soap had leaked, and
Those are
all
the
that.
vagaries of the weather.
Yes. So they need to make it flexible for us. They need to make the regulations flexible for everyone, so that at the end of the day, when there is development in Ghana, it affects every part of West Africa because we are one people. Yes.
Apart from Nigeria, which you mentioned, which other countries do you apply your trade in?
Okay, so in West Africa here, I'm in Nigeria, Togo, Ivory Coast, Mali. And then outside West Africa, Rwanda, Kenya, Tanzania. Then Egypt. Gepa took us to Egypt recently. Yes.
And how was the experience?
Oh, the experience was great, but we had this challenge with the Egypt. Even Gepa, they got frustrated at a point. So to the extent that if you don't ship your items early enough, the program you're attending might end and your things will not be cleared. So we had a lot of challenges, even after the exhibition, coming back and getting our things to be able to sell and make some money during Christmas. It didn't happen because of these kind of regulatory disparities. So I believe that these regulations should be made, they should be harmonized. So that we can all have one regulation that we are going with this. But if they are all different, it confuses us, it wastes time, and then it also wastes resources.
So when you came back with this particular experience, were you able to perhaps call the attention of all the players, or the most important ones, to this challenge and how they can better facilitate it the next time?
Yes. So we have platform. So we share our concerns, our petitions, and they have promised to work on it. So I think AFTA has taken it up.
Okay.
So yes, and we also have other institutions like the AFTA Policy Network. My boss here, he's trying his best to make sure that all those things do not happen again.
Awesome. All right, so let me come back to Louis and find out from you. You are a private consultant, so just want to find out from you how you envision the role of innovation and technology adoption in enhancing the competitiveness of businesses participating in the regional value chains. I mean,
I think that, to go back to the earlier point that we're making, innovation, for it to be competitive, you see, you have to be, if it's a company, because the government will lay the pipeline. Companies will have to also have their strategic plans.
Right.
We are in a social age. Innovation should be something that is inevitable. It's inelastic. And once you look at the space you find your industry, every year, if we should discuss the budgets from the Silicon Valley, I'm not sure it's just called Silicon Valley for just its name. Where, if you take US, for example, what companies are really earning them? What tech companies? Look, Apple was fined $1.2 billion by European. That is $1.2 billion dollars.
Yes.
We were seeking how much from the IMF?
6 billion.
No, we were seeking about $3 billion.
$3 billion.
$3 billion. And they were fining a
1.2 billion.
A company whose market capitalization, market value, raised about, last time I checked, about $3 trillion or $4 trillion, wiping out even the total estimate of Africa's, when we put our GDP, combined GDP, we are estimating that we are there. We are estimating to be about 3 point something. And one company with its market capitalization is about $3 trillion. And that company is a tech company in the innovation space. So what tells you? So if they become a pool, always they will have value addition. And we need this tech and innovation in all our sectors.
Right.
It's about time we realize that we can do little without it. Well, talk about cosmetics. Talk about fashion. Talk about garment or textile. Talk about leather. Talk about chemicals. What will you do that you don't need tech or innovation? It's not an alternative. It is intrinsic. It is imperative. And for example, I realize that if you come back to this side of our world, it's like more for about 10 years back, it was like a hobby.
Right.
We look at it as a kind of a hobby that you feel happy that you're a tech savvy. No. I had a personal encounter with Professor Dr. Mason, the fiber optic inventor.
Yes. Dr. Thomas Mensah.
He's a consultant being sought by almost every country.
Yeah.
He is a Ghanaian. I would like to ask, have we made good use of such a man? Have we? No, I'm not sure. Because this man can help put speed trains. He has said this several times.
Yeah.
He was honored in the US as one of the few who came up with that fiber optic.
Yeah.
So for all I'm saying is that tech and innovation is not something like you just have a second thought. Every company in the private sector must invest in it at its foundational stage. In the university, we used to have a course called appropriate technology. Those appropriate technologies, what is today envisaged in the TVET. So it's envisaged in the polytechnics kind of system.
Right.
We all say that Germany started from that angle. So when you talk about tech, it's not only you are looking at only stuff, you are looking even industrial. We have people have crawled right now. Advanced countries are looking at the defects of AI.
Yeah.
Because they have gone so far that they are looking at the defects of AI and how it will cost the economy in the year by year. We have not even started yet much, let alone to talk about the defects. In other words, by the time that they move to the next phase, we are not grappling.
Right.
So we have to look at that one. Finally, if you look at the tech and innovation, it should become a course that is not done in the university. It should be right from crèche. Like we used to have the early day childhood development care, which and I'm happy the Minister of Education seems to be moving towards that positive direction.
Right.
We need to have all this right at crèche, the codings, the what do you call it? Apart from the coding, you have this course. It's very expensive. Ghana is undertaking that. This popular
logarithms and all that.
There's a name for that one. The coding. There's another. With technology, mass,
robotics or STEM.
STEM,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I led a company. We took the faculty of the University of Cape Coast training for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And an hour is supposed to cost $600.
An hour.
And we did it free.
Wow.
We did it free. I'm not even sure the Minister of Education are coming to thank me. We did it free. Arizona University were part of it. And STEM, I remember decades ago. Today, Rwanda is ahead when it comes to tech. Do you know why? About 15 years ago, they had a policy. Today that we are having one laptop, they had that policy about 15 years ago. And they started giving every school a basic laptop. Today, it's a landlocked country, but if they are advanced when it comes to tech.
Right.
So as a nation, we should start it from the crèche or even before, then all the way through to the universities, and then we should have labs. Those are some of the inefficiencies where we don't have a lot of labs. I'm not talking about hubs. I'm talking about labs.
Yes.
With labs, the moment you come out of labs, you know that it's invention.
Right.
Anything that comes out of a lab is innovation. Anything that comes out, as I was saying, the graduates from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, they don't look for a job.
Yeah. They are sort of
before they complete, the poaching is there.
Yeah.
Unilever used to have that approach many years ago. Before you complete School of Admin, then Unilever will bring this kind of
offer.
That is that will inculcate those who might not have formal education, but they might have this talent of building with their hands.
Yeah.
My son, I've seen that thing in him. He likes to build things behind engineering. So anytime I'm doing something, I try to call him to come and see, study. And he can put things together himself.
Right.
And I'm trying to give him to study. Sometimes I go to these electrical repairers to go and sit down for during Saturdays. I want him to go and sit and learn. I'm not waiting for him to get to the university before.
Yeah.
So by the time he finishes his tertiary, he has become a master. Before now, what he needs to do is come out with inventions and innovations.
Yeah.
It is not only mathematics. So if you have a student who is deficient in mathematics, it does not mean that the person doesn't have innovative skills. We have to change the narrative. And so if you ask me, the same applies to businesses. Stock exchange. Have you visited the Ghana Stock Exchange?
I've been there, but that's been quite a long time ago when Mr. Yamwa was still the CEO. And then
I raised that question.
Yes. That's been a long time ago.
They are doing very well.
Yes, yes.
But what do you think? Compare a closing of stock at New York Stock Exchange and the closing of stock at Ghana Stock Exchange. It's not that Ghana Stock Exchange cannot do better. There's one thing, deficient, and that is what? Tech, innovation. This is where we are going to. Even in sports. In sports. Until recently, when a ball passes a certain the goal technology, what happened? There were so many confusions. But today, what happens? It's easier.
Yeah.
So every fiber, even in church, we talk about religion. You can these days, services are done virtual. Conferences are done virtual. Facebook, what do you call it? Zoom. During the COVID, made $5 billion in the space of about 3 months during COVID.
Zoom. Yes. Because most people resorted to virtual meetings and all that.
And governments of ECOWAS, Africa, they saved a lot of fiscal. They were fiscally decent. Why? Because they were not traveling. Because when they are traveling for summits, when they are traveling for summits, they go with a whole entourage. And that entourage hotel, ticket. But when COVID was in place and there was this Zoom and virtual, we can go and check the kind of conserve revenue that we conserved. And so no one should tell us whether we want to invest in tech or innovation. The situation should tell us. Up to now, we've not been able to deal heavily with ghost names when it comes to the controller and accountant general. Have we?
No.
So your yes is as good as
Okay. Anyway. All right. So I think it's 6:29, and at this juncture, I would go for a break. This is High on Port here on Metropolitan Television, and tonight we are taking a look at the challenges and opportunities in regional value chains, and we're fixated this evening at women-owned businesses and the role of the private sector. With us in the studios, Mr. Louis Yaafol, who is an AFTA expert and Executive Director of the AFTA Network Policy Network, and indeed also in the studios, Madam Joyce Konedu-Aiden, CEO of Essential Cosmetics. They are the two personalities we're having a discussion with tonight. So we'll be back right after this break. Please do stay with us.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, boss, fill my tank with Super XP Euro 95.
Fill up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mommy.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals. street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse. Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
Okay, so welcome back. This is Iron Port. Remember, it's on Metro TV, and tonight we are discussing challenges and opportunities in regional value chains and the role of the private sector and the women-owned businesses. In the studios with us is Madam Joyce Konedu-Aiden, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Essential Cosmetics, and indeed also in the studios Mr. Louis Yaafo. He's an after expert and Executive Director of the After Policy Network. They're the two personalities we're having a discussion with tonight. So I'm coming to you, but I think I've been told by the production team that we can activate the phone lines for you to call in, and the number to dial is 020-552-8353, 020-552-8353. You can call in and contribute to the discussion. I shall be coming into the inbox to take your messages pretty shortly. But let me come to you, Joyce. And we know that women entrepreneurs mostly sometimes benefit from targeted capacity building projects. I just want to find out from you at the company level what you're doing in terms of skills advancement and the capacity building activities to, build up your organization and yourself.
Thank you very much. So at my level, it is true capacity building is really helping us in the women-led businesses. So using my company as an example, we make it a point to attend industry events a lot.
Right.
So there are the seminars, the summits, the conferences, the trade shows and all that. Sometimes we don't even exhibit, but we attend to learn a lot because these days the competition is high. So you always need to stay abreast with the industry trends.
Yeah.
So of course it helps us to build sustainable businesses. It helps us to be more innovative. So we make it a point to go. And I must say that we are able to network a lot. So as we mentioned the financial challenges, I've been able to raise funds to support my business through networking, people that I met from these events, because you tend to meet like-minded people who believe in the dream.
Yeah.
Yes. So it has really helped the capacity building. Some of these programs also even help in the ideation stage. So there are people who necessarily do not own a business, but they attend capacity programs like this to develop ideas, how to start their business, how to package their products. There are even export readiness programs that at the end of the day, it gives you insights that you need to be ready for exportation. Yes.
First of all, I wanted to tell us how you're able to access information in terms of information flow with respect to some of these seminars and conferences that you attend. And you just made mention of the fact that, yes, from your submission, it means you take networking quite seriously.
Yes.
You identify people that perhaps would reason like you and would, as it were, tilt towards your dream. And so once the fellow you get the buy-in of the person, accessing finance becomes a bit more easier. So talk to us.
So I want to tell my fellow women who are into businesses that we all need to take networking seriously. And in the networking, it's not always that you meet someone who is ready to push finance into your business, but the sharing of ideas, correction, learning from each other. There are also industry
cross-fertilization of ideas.
Yes, collaboration. So at a point, I got an export opportunity and I wasn't having enough to meet the demand. So I had to fall on my fellow cosmetic people to get their products to meet the demand. And it's all... it was all birthed from the networking events that I attended. So we need to take networking seriously. And we also need to try as much as possible to join industry organizations. So for the cosmetics industry per se, we have a lot of organizations and groups, both on social media and traditional, that when these opportunities come, we have access to, or we have information. We also try to make very good use of social media. Most of the time we play a lot on social media, or we think that we need to make our money, so we go advertise our products and then we get off social media. But it is high time we look for information on social media. I came across APN, the After Policy Network on social media, and I attended an event they organized for entrepreneurs. I attended their exhibition, and I also I had opportunity to network. I even pitched my business there, and I had people approaching me, even though the financial part hasn't come. I've built relationship with people. So we need to make very good use of these platforms, the WhatsApp platforms. Look out. Sometimes you need to even search share butter cooperatives in Ghana, or after cooperatives in Ghana, there is GEPA. Everyone needs to join. If you want to export, you need to collaborate with people on other markets outside. There are bigger organizations that you cannot do it by yourself. They are the people who bring down the information, and then other smaller organizations disseminate this information. So everyone needs to make it a point to invest in her business. When you are registering for GEPA, I remember the first time I went there, I said, I want to join GEPA. How much is it? How much is the form? They told me 2,000 Ghana cedis. I was with someone. The person said, hey, anybody. It's true, it's expensive. But at the end of the day, picking a flight, going to Kenya to do market research and all that, look at the cost. But with an amount of 2,000 cedis, you are on the page and it just comes. Market expedition, this and that. You register, you join, and then you go. So we need to learn to invest in our business. It's all about investment. Until you invest to a stage, you will never be qualified to be invested in.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Awesome. So let me come to you. I think we have some messages, but I'll come to you first. And then I just want to find out from you in terms of opportunities, protocol on digital trade offers to private sector and women-owned businesses. If you can tell us something about it.
Before, permit me to touch a bit on I want to use this appeal to GEPA to lower the cost. To me.
Of the registration?
Yes, to me. I wish I'll have time to look at some.
I thought you were going to say they should up it to $1,000.
No, I will find time to propose some models. Because if we go by this kind of models, we will not become an exporting country. Let me tell you why. The Chinese government and co. Why do we have a China mall here? Why? It is a big blow. You know why? Because the Chinese is giving a kind of incentive package.
Yeah.
And instead of you and I going to bring the product here and then add something to it, he brings it straight after being given some support.
And they make it cheaper.
And make it cheaper. And you can't compete.
Yeah.
It's the same. That is a nature what we call the export houses. You have it in Kenya. But that export house, if they don't do more exhibitions, it will become like a normal shop, which will not fly much because you need to have value-added products. The Chinese malls, you go and see value-added products. Now, so if you have a GEPA, you want to promote a lot of companies to export. You have to lower that registration from 2,000 even to 200 cedis.
Right.
That is the first level.
To encourage more
to register. We are talking about registration. Then what you need to do is that you build a system, a structure, said that for further services, this is what you pay. Because you are the professional body that is going to look into that. So if you have more than, if you have about 2,000 or 3,000 companies registering because you lowered it to 200 cedis, now you let them know that from these services we are offering, you are going to pay so much. It will boost their participation. Because when they start coming and there's a training factor to it, they go apply the training you're giving them, they expand their businesses, they get revenue income, they come and pay for the extra, but immediately they come for a company that is a startup, and you hit them with that registration mark. It's discouraging. It's discouraging. Right? You won't go there, and they will lose professional expertise. Though you are the anchor institution, so they should lower that 2,000. To me, it's not encouraging.
Okay,
they should. For example, if you go to this bank, Ghana Exim Bank, they have what they call something village. It's like a building inside their it's like a shop, where they are ready to host all innovative products that falls within a portable chain, free of charge.
Right.
That is an incentive. You know, so sometimes we call for one thing and then our actions put people off. This is just a passionate appeal. That 2,000 registration, I've heard this note today. After all, as she said, when you are going to do the what do you call it, the exhibitions outside, you have a role you play. So if you tell the participant that, look, we are taking also and so, there's still some component they are supposed to pay. It's not 100% free. So at that time, the company might have matured to a certain point that I'm going for an international exhibition. If we don't get grants to defray the cost, because I know along the line some $500,000 from the US from World Bank supported some after activities, and the likes of GIZ and Co have also been supporting. So that is my personal appeal. As for the digital question you asked me, the digital protocol, it was adopted this February by the heads of states. We should have done this. In fact, if digital protocol had come when after was adopted in 2018, maybe would have seen a lot of its viability during COVID. I don't need to even go further because it's going to boost not all electronic products, goods and services under this digital protocol. The only appeal the protocol is asking is that now a lot of school of thought are thinking we should be careful the tax imposition, the custom duties that are going to be imposed upon some of the electronically generated products. As it to be. But it does also bar government from having legislative instruments like the e-levies. Though that's not what the protocol is saying. You can have those things, but it should not be such that it's so marginal that it's discouraging the people from transacting digitally. Because don't forget, digital trade is not only immobile, to also delivery. It's part of the process. You know, so this is one protocol that I think that is going to open because it involves payments as well. And I'm so happy that in Ghana there's a lot of fintech. It's one discussion we need to look at. There's a lot of fintech that is really taking shape. There's a lot of fintech that is improving insurance. People are taking soft loans from fintech. Thank God to the MTN, the Mumus. your people are saving. And so it is a good protocol. It's early day yet.
Right.
And I'm sure I think in the coming days there's going to be a program like that by the British High Commission or so on that. And I think that we need to serve notice for you people to cover it.
Right.
That kind of, what we call it, a capacity building.
Yeah. Okay, right. So this one says, hello, I am Port. Can you ask Miss Iden what advice she has for other women looking to start their own businesses in the cosmetics industry in this region? This one is from Ben Lord in Winneba.
The advice I have for women who want to start their own cosmetic businesses, you need to know the environment you are in, and then you need to stand out. At the end of the day, you need to stand out. So first, look at where you are and look at the particular problem that you want to solve. Now, the cosmetic industry is very competitive. A lot of people are doing the same thing. So you need to be very innovative. Everyone is treating acne. Everyone is doing lightening products. So how innovative are you going to be? And we also mentioned the capacity building programs. These programs are open not only for people running businesses, but people who are at the stage where they want to develop ideas. The other time I was telling someone that there is a free business idea. A lot of men go to cosmetic shops and they go to the stress to ask, can a man use this?
Yeah.
Oh, as for this, it's for women. As for men, we really don't need. So what's about venturing into cosmetics for men so that at the end of the day, when a man gets a soap, he knows that it is taking care of his hair, his beard, and his body. Men don't have time.
Yeah.
So someone can focus on cosmetics for men. So you see, you need to be innovative so that at the end of the day, you stand out. But the capacity building program is key.
Yeah.
Now, going back to the assessing finance, there are a lot of women who need finance to scale up their businesses, or there are people who need finance to set up a business, but they don't have the right documentations that will qualify them. So someone who go to the bank needs a loan, then they ask, you have a bank account, your bank statement and all that, and the person is like, I do a lot of Momo transactions. You need to have financial literacy to be able to grow the business, because it's not only about making the product and selling out. You need to do a lot of learning and lots of financial studies and all that. And yes, so far these are the basics, but for the capacity building, so you find all this in the capacity building. At the end of the day, you even realize that the cosmetic business that you want to go into, that is really not what you have to go into when you start attending the capacity building programs. Yes.
But for want of time, I would have asked my own question, and that would have been the difference between bleaching, lightening. You mentioned lightening, and then toning. I would have asked, but we don't have enough time, so maybe some other time we'll come. This one says, how do you believe the cosmetic industry can contribute to empowering women in West Africa? My name is Funani in Accra.
So I believe the cosmetic industry empowers women a lot. Earlier, we used to import all our cosmetic products from the other side here.
Right.
But since the cosmetic industry started booming in West Africa, we are able to realize that we are able to do a lot of things. We have a lot of things, raw materials down here that people come for. They go and refine them and bring them back. And now a lot of people are able to make it on their own.
Right.
People are able to take care of their own bills. People have their business and they are doing well because they ventured into businesses like this. And also it has promoted self-confidence, because one thing I've realized about the cosmetic industry here in Ghana or in West Africa is that the side effects is less. Let's put aside the organics that come and then they have negative effects on the skin. But on the larger scale, the side effects after using a skincare product is less. And people have now started embracing their natural being, their skin color and all that. Now the rate at which people bleach has gone down because we have decided to venture into the cosmetic industry and teach people reason why they need to stay away from those things and then use what we have down here. So yes, it has empowered us to have confidence in ourselves and also helped us economically.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. This one says, I agree with Mr. Affle. We should inculcate digital tech in the youth from the scratch. This one is from Overview in Medina. So let me stick with you. Just your last question before we wrap up, because we have barely 3 minutes to go. I just want to talk about SMEs and how they can participate in regional value chains, because scarcely or rarely do they do. And so how will they be able to do that? And then how can Africa continue that's after promote inclusivity, enabling the active involvement of SMEs?
I think the question is another time, but
it's a pregnant one.
Yes, I'll answer it from Madam CEOs.
Yes.
To be honest with you, Mona, I need to make another passionate appeal. Sometimes the financial institutions should stop this notion of, they don't have documentation. They don't have documentation. They hide behind that. Look, the financial institutions some of them should really restructure their portfolios. The Nobel economist, some 10 years ago in India, he realized that, look, I have the people, I have the market. I can't give them certain loans. Right. What he did was he studied the market. And like, look, they were more agrarian to livestock. So what he did was that he bought the livestock for them.
Right.
Go and rear it. When you rear it, sell it equivalent value, come and pay back my loan.
Right.
We are doing the same old thing 10, 40 years ago. Yeah. What document do you want a startup to bring?
Yeah.
If you, the banks or the institutions, don't grow with them, will you come back for their deposit?
No.
No. Elon Musk, what startup, what capital was he having before the US library gave him that seed? So we mix the two. Go and bring this, go and bring that. When they bring, it's not that you want them to bring.
Yeah.
We need to come to the modern era.
Even when you have it, they have a different reason.
We call it branch X banking. It has changed, branch S banking. If our banks continue to sit without practicing this, a time will come, they might not even have any deposit. Because people will rather go and because SMEs are now wide awake.
Right.
So we need to restructure our portfolio pattern and what we call documentation and collateralization. After all, do you know that at certain stage in somebody's business, you can use the stock as collateral?
Okay.
Yes. Without necessarily, you can use, apart from the stock can be assets.
Yeah.
The stock can be assets. So it has become a problem. Some of the SMEs, they always have to struggle one way or the other to find certain kind of documentation which doesn't exist, but which can be captured as they are growing. Also, the banks will have within their department, they should have modernized approach to financing businesses so that they can enjoy their growth and the revenues that come out of it. I want to pause on the SMEs at this point. So if banks are hearing financial bill, the days of go and bring good this, go and bring that is good. But please modernize it.
Absolutely.
Modernize it.
All right, Joyce, your final words, just in 30 seconds and we wrap up.
Thank you very much. I think a lot needs to be done to put small businesses, especially women-owned businesses, out there.
Right.
A lot of promotion needs to be done to promote us. Now, when our products are high in demand, that is when we will be able to make more money, produce more, and export out. Like how my boss mentioned, there is China Mall here. We need a lot of Ghana malls out there, not just the Ghana Trade House, but Ghana Mall, so that we promote made in Ghana products, made in West Africa products, so that when the demand comes, there will be the need of our products outside. Yes, and they need to do a lot for us when it comes to the finance aspects. We need a lot of grants. Yes, we need a lot of grants to push us.
Okay, awesome. So that's Joyce Konedo-Aiden. She's the Chief Executive Officer of Essential Cosmetics. And we also in the studio have Mr. Louis Yawafo. He's an after expert and Executive Director of the After Policy Network. They are the two personalities, awesome personalities we've been having a discussion with tonight. And remember, we're taking a look at challenges and opportunities in the regional value chains and the role of the private sector and women-owned businesses. We'd like to say big thanks at this juncture to our sponsors, the Ghana Revenue Authority, GWEL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. Remember, Proudly, the show is powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, GPHA. We entreat you to watch the abridged version of Iron Port on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. on Ghana Television. And remember to keep watching the rest of our programs here on Metro TV. My name is Kennedy Mona. God willing, next week Sunday we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition of your favorite Iron Port program. Thank you for